Hello everyone, thank you all for attending interviews the Serve the Right Way, where you all know each other here. So I'll just go over, my name is Megan Atkinson. I'm qualified to do this presentation because I got my Associates in Paralegal Studies, which I covered a lot on employment law, and this is what all this presentation is about. So let's go ahead and get started. So first, we're going to go ahead and watch two videos, or two interviews. So this is example one interview. Let's go ahead and watch it.
Hello, how are you today?
Good, how are you?
Great. Are you Miss Kimberly Sedgwick?
I am.
Nice to meet you, and I'll be interviewing you today.
Thank you.
Alright, so say you were looking for a position as a cook at our experienced restaurant, right?
Yes.
Alright, so looking over your resume, I see that you went to like Cordon Bleu got your applied science degree. Tell me about that. What all did that entail?
We had 15 months of classrooms. It was cooking, cleaning, we had baking, sausage, Sunday, one-on-one on the group.
Alright. So what do you think your greatest strengths are?
The kitchen will be sausage.
Be salty? Okay. What do you think is your greatest weakness?
Baking.
Baking? Yes. Alright, we do a little baking here at the Little Gang restaurant. So, do you think you could improve on it, or what do you...
I could be practice.
Go practice? Okay. Alright. So, how do you handle stress and pressure? Because, Friday, Saturday night, date night, everyone likes to come out. How do you think you'd be able to handle the stress in the kitchen?
Just focusing on my job, doing my job, breathing through it.
Okay. Do you have any special techniques that you like to use while you're in a stressful situation?
Not really. Just focusing on what I'm doing, yeah.
Alright. So would you like to describe to me a difficult work situation or project and how you were able to handle it and overcome it? Or what would be a stressful work situation when you're in the kitchen? Like you had 5 steaks to come back, how would you handle that?
Drop them all immediately, and obviously know which picture is which for size. And then cook it.
Alright. So, how do you evaluate success?
By what position will be and how fast will be get there.
Alright. How would you evaluate success being in the kitchen? Like, would you think it's successful if you only had 1 or 2 steaks come back, or you only had a couple refires? Like, how would you equate successful night?
By having no refires and being busy and with a break so possible.
Okay. Alright, and why are you leaving, or why have you left your other job? Because I see that you were previously working at Chili, or are you still working there?
No, I was trying to get out of there as much as possible, and my manager had to be.
Oh, what was that over?
The schedule, she wouldn't work with me.
Alright, here at the Wolfgang restaurant, we're usually really flexible with our schedules, so we should be able to accommodate you on that. So why do you want this job?
Kitchen's always been my passion. Cooking with my grandma in the kitchen. Absolutely loved it. Always wanted to be in the kitchen. School. I think I'll be a great fit for this job. Hard worker, yeah.
So why should we hire you? What are your big skills? Like, why
beyond.
Okay. So what are your goals for the future?
I can own a restaurant pretty soon.
Your own restaurant? Okay. Tell me a little about yourself. What's your drive? What's your passion?
Passion is just kitchen. I got myself on homeschool, graduating with Christian, so I could go to culinary school as quickly as possible. Ended up being at 17.
Okay. And how old were you whenever you graduated with your sister?
19.
19. Okay. Alright. Well, thank you for your time today, and we'll give you a call back, alright?
Thank you.
Alright, so that was example 1 interview, and we're going to go ahead and move on to the second one and see what y'all think about that one.
Hello, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Great. Are you Miss Kimberly Chadwick? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, my name's Megan. I'll be interviewing you today, alright?
Alright.
So today, it was on your resume and it says that you're trying to get the position as a cook, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright. So let's go ahead and get down to it. So what is your greatest strength?
The kitchen would be sausage.
Sausage? Alright. What is your greatest weakness?
Probably pastries, desserts, baking.
Pastries and desserts? Alright.
Yeah.
So you'd be fine putting on like the grill and like sauces and this, that, more of that direction, right?
Yeah, definitely.
How do you handle stress and pressure?
It doesn't really affect me. Breathe through it, work through it. Focus on
The best one?
exactly.
Alright. Have you ever worked in the kitchen before?
Yes.
Alright. How many years experience do you have in it?
And the kitchen, probably about 3.
3 years experience? That's great. And what kitchen did you work at?
Little mom and pop restaurant called the LTEC. I've worked at Chili's Kitchen a little bit, and then some motel classes.
Alright. What all did you prepare while you were there?
There was steak, fried food, burgers, a couple sauces here and there.
Alright, so you already have experience in steak and grilled and fried. That's great. That's what we're actually looking for. So how do you evaluate stress? Or success?
Just how far I can rise to what's the success level.
Alright, so your ultimate goal working at the Wolfgang restaurant and being the head chef,
That would be amazing, yeah.
okay, we can try and get you working towards there. So why do you want this job?
Passion kitchen. I've always, something tough. Idolize a little bit.
I don't know. So why did you leave your other job?
I didn't like the GM who just didn't mesh. Yeah.
Okay, so it didn't have anything to do with the cooking or anything wasn't too hard for you?
Just didn't get along with management.
Yeah. We've all had those jobs back in the day, I remember that. So why should I hire you?
I'm a hard worker. I like to please my bosses.
Okay, we like you, please. So after that, are you married at all?
I'm not.
Do you have any kids?
I don't.
Are you planning to have any kids?
I do want to have kids in the near future, yeah.
Like 6 months future?
Yeah, 6 months here.
Okay. Alright, so I guess one of your goals for the future is having kids.
Yes.
Anything else? Any other future goals?
No.
Alright, so I see that you also have an associate's degree at Cordon Bleu in the applied sciences. Do you feel like that prepared you to be at this level of cooking with consistency?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
You know, I graduated high school early, so I could start cooking sooner. I have my degree by the time I was 19.
Okay. Alright. I think it sounds great, and we'll look over this and we'll not call you back, okay?
Alright, thank you.
Thank you. Alright. So, which one do y'all think is the right way to interview someone? The first one or the second one?
Second.
The second one?
Second, yeah.
So why do y'all think the second one is the right way to interview someone?
More polite. She actually knew what she was going to say, rather than just saying, I don't know.
Okay.
And she actually seemed like she had more goals. Like she knew what her goals she wanted, rather than in the first one where she was just kind of, you know,
I don't know.
BSing it.
Yeah.
Alright, so y'all think the second one because the interviewee, what you're saying, knew what she was doing and knew, like, why, like, she knew what her goals were and what she wanted to do?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Jacob, is that the same for you?
Kinda, because I noticed you didn't write down a lot of stuff while you were interviewing her on the second one.
Good point. She didn't ask any questions.
You didn't get into detail as much.
Alright.
So honestly, I'd probably have to change to the first one because you got into more detail on the first.
So the first one?
And you want to try to get that person to see what they're like in pressure, not just that, but you know, just to get into more depth about things.
Alright, so we have a little tie going on to see you think the first one's the right way and you think the second one's the right way. Alright, so let's go ahead and explore this and see which one really is the right way. Alright, so first off, we're going to go ahead and look into the laws of interviewing in employment law. So on section 21.051, discrimination by an employer. So these are all pretty much the things that employees can't discriminate against. Is an employer can't commit an unlawful employment practice if it becomes a race, color, disability, religion, sex, national origin, or age of the employer. So if an employer discriminates against any of these things, that it leads to they can be sued because that's illegal to do. And also, if they fail or refuse to hire an individual, discharge an individual, or discriminate in any other manner against an individual in connection with compensation of terms, conditions, or privileges of an employment, or limits, segregates, or classifies an employee or applicant for employment in a manner that would deprive an individual of employment opportunity or adversely affect in any other manner the status of an employee. Pretty much what that is saying is if they have anything to do with any of these items, that they can be sued. Alright, and if the employer doesn't comply, the Texas Labor Code Subchapter A, General Provisions, Section 24.04, the employers will be charged with a Class B misdemeanor if they discriminate employees. So this is an actual real thing. It happens every day in life. So whenever you are in an interview and you see these things happening, you can actually point them out and say, hey, I'm not entitled to, I don't have to answer this kind of questions because it can lead to discrimination. And the punishment is Class B misdemeanor is a fine that doesn't exceed $2,000, confinement in jail or terms to not exceed 180 days, or both. So that employer, the management that actually did that interview can actually go to jail for doing that. Alright. But there are some exceptions to these laws. So, discriminatory notice or advertisement in an employer's labor organization, employment agency, or joint labor management committee controlling is apprenticeship or on-the-job training or other training or retaining program commits an unlawful employment practice in an employer law organization or agency commits, prints, or publishes or causes to print or publish or notice the advertisement relating to employment that indicates a preference, limitation, or specification or discrimination based on race, color, disability, religion, sex, nation, national or organized, or age, and concerns an employee status, employment, or admission to or membership of participant in a labor union or training in returning program. And this section does not apply if disability, religion, sex, national origin, or age is both bona fide occupational qualifications. Which this pretty much means that if, say, Jacob, you were going to go to school for being a firefighter. So if, after you got out of school and everything, and there's an advertisement that says, looking for firefighter, male, say 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. Like they're looking for those kind of people. So if I say, me for example, go up there and apply for the job, I get turned down. This right here says that I can't sue them because that is what it is. It's bona fide occupational qualification. That, hey, this is what the specification of the job is, and there's a reason why, because they don't want me to get hurt. Alright, and then the age discrimination is limited to individual of a certain age. So if you are over 40 years of age or older, that is the only time it applies to you. So if you are thinking whenever I was asking her about her age, whenever I was doing her interviews, that has nothing to do with the age discrimination, because if she's not 40 years or older, it doesn't apply to her. But sex discrimination. A provision in this chapter as referring to discrimination because of sex, where the basis of sex includes discrimination because of or on the basis of pregnancy, childbirth, or related medical conditions. And also, this subpart of it says, a woman affected by pregnancy, childbirth, or a related medical condition shall be treated for purposes related to employment, include receipt or benefit under a fragile benefit program in the same manner as another individual, not affected but similar in the individual ability or inability to work. So this is where y'all find out who wins, the first interview or the second interview. And it is the first interview.
Woot woot.
Because in the second interview, I asked her if she was planning on getting pregnant. That is a big no-no for employees to do. Even if you are pregnant or planning to be pregnant, it is the biggest mistake any employer can ever do to ask an interviewee if they are. Because from section 21.106, that is illegal. Alright, and then this is the last of the exceptions, is section 21.109. Employment by a religious organization, a religious corporation, association, society, or educational institution, or an educational organization operated, supervised, or controlled in full or in substantial part by a religious corporation, association, or society does not commit an unlawful employment practice by limiting employment or giving a preference to members of the same religion. So back in the day, whenever you heard on the news about this lady, she was working at a Catholic church, and then or she was working in a Catholic school, and they told her that she couldn't work there because she professed that she was an atheist. They can really fire her upon that because of section 21.109, because to work in that identity, you have to be part of the same faith. Alright, so do y'all have any questions about interviewing?
I don't.
Sure.
Alright, what is your question?
Okay, you said two is wrong and one was right.
Yes.
That depends. If you're looking from the employer's point of view, yes, you're right. If you're looking at the employee's point of view, you're wrong.
How so?
The employee was not as she didn't seem to really care in the first interview like she did in the second one.
Yes.
She cared more in the second one. Now, if you're talking about the employer, you're right on the fact that she can't ask certain questions like that, but that's if you're looking at the employer. Most people care more about the employee, not the employer.
Yeah, but as in as when you are an interviewee going into an interview, you always have to know your rights as an interviewee, because whenever you go in and you have a interviewer like, say, me, that's asking these kind of questions, you have to know when to stand up for yourself and how to battle that if you do get asked, even though you're a male, you can't be pregnant. And but in Kim's situation, she was wanting to get pregnant and told him, yeah, I want to get pregnant within the next 6 months. So
That's pretty much like asking them pretty much who's their kid's name, who's their husband's name, where do you live. You really can't do that type of stuff. You can, but you actually can't, because that's invading privacy.
Well, you can because
yeah, legally you can't ask if they're going to be pregnant.
Yeah, you can't ask about pregnancy, but they can ask if you're married.
Oh yeah, they can ask if you're married and stuff, but they can't know your whole life.
And they can't ask if you have children already.
Yeah, well, they're not supposed to be able to ask if you have children.
That's what I'm saying.
That can make them not want to hire you, because you're going to need time off in case your kid gets sick from school, that you're going to have to leave work to go pick them up.
That's what they need to know.
Yeah, but in an interview process, you don't want them to know that, because they can...
So what you're saying is they can hire you, and then when they find out that you do have children, they can fire you.
No.
They don't have to say it, but they will fire you because of that reason.
Yeah, they can find other reasons to fire you, but they can't fire you based on the terms.
They can't fire you just for having kids. Now, if you're over here missing and stuff, yeah.
Because if you're missing a lot of work and stuff, they can do that.
Therefore, asking if you already have children would kind of make sense.
Yeah, but legally,
you can't do
that. So, alright. Well, thank y'all for y'all's time today, and I appreciate all y'all's wonderful questions, and I'll see y'all next time, alright?
Okay.